But then it's a supervisor vehicle, so maybe he
qualified for
a
special fancy
AC.
stuff. Yeah, he could have. But anyway, again, this is coming to us courtesy of some unnamed anonymous person too. So who the hell knows? And apparently the same person around 5 a.m. spotted Dave again, and Dave was headed towards Plant 4, which also struck this coworker as odd since Dave's job assignment, of course, was in Plant 8.
And we don't have any records that say that he finished the job in Plant 8 and may have been sent to 4 to deal with something else.
Well, that's entirely possible. Also, in Plant 4, there was supposed to be a safety meeting around 7 a.m. So I was thinking maybe he was headed there early to get a good seat.
Or to take a nap.
Yeah, it could have been take a nap or screw around.
Eat his lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? And I don't know what's in the direction of Plant 4. Maybe Plant 3, Plant 5, something else.
Maybe Plant 8.
Maybe a bathroom.
Maybe it's, they're parallel, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then they're just right next to each other.
Yeah, I am not knowing.
Doesn't matter. Anyway.
But, yeah. So and anyway, this was the last person who saw Dave alive.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly at least. Well,
the last person who's come forward.
Yeah, who's admitted to seeing him alive. Dave did not make it to the safety meeting, of course. Maybe that's not why he was headed towards Plant 4. Maybe, like we said, maybe he was headed towards Plant 5.
Mm-hmm.
Plant 3.5. I don't know. Harry Easterling said that at the end of the shift, he noticed that Dave's toolbox was still sitting there with the keys on it, but no Dave. Harry looked for Dave for a little bit. Eventually left a message with the security guard to give to Dave, saying that he was going home, saying that he would meet him again at the usual spot tomorrow.
Yeah, Harry thought he was just figured he'd picked up more work for the night.
Doing some overtime or something like that, yeah.
Although, God, it seems like, do you either of you remember what he said their commute time was from the restaurant to the plant?
I don't know. That's a good question. I'm assuming it was somewhat substantial. I mean, otherwise, why bother carpooling?
Well, and
right?
That's exactly my thing.
But it also couldn't have been more than an hour, because if they started at midnight and met at 11.
Yeah, but a 30-minute drive is a long way to have to hoof it on foot if he decides to work a couple of hours. You would think that... I understand why Harry called and said, hey, tell him I left, so he could, cajole somebody into giving him a ride to his vehicle.
I assume that's what happened. Is somebody would have given him a ride. Somebody didn't give him a ride.
And this is in the days, of course, before we had text messaging, although intercompany phones are a thing, and so you would imagine that he would have called the switchboard and figured out where the hell he was so he could track... Dave, that is. If Dave was working overtime, could have figured out where Harry was and called Harry and told him, but
I don't know.
Who knows?
Reportedly, Dave had a walkie-talkie on him, so I would assume they all had walkie-talkies.
That's the equivalent of inter-office phones.
Yeah, so I don't know if Harry tried to raise him on the walkie-talkie. I assume he would have, but and got no reply back because, well, I don't know. Something happened to Dave.
So Dave doesn't go home with Harry.
He does not, but Harry the next night goes to meet Dave in the usual place in the restaurant parking lot, sees Dave's car parked there, and assumed that Dave was not in the car, assumed that he might be in the restaurant getting some food or something, but Dave...
Apparently he did that.
Yeah, occasionally, but Dave, as it turns out, was not in the restaurant either. So Harry goes to work, looks for Dave. Dave's not there, and so he reported him missing, and they began a search of the premises, which, as you can imagine, would have taken a while because it's a big, big place.
And isn't this where Harry said he got to the maintenance building and saw Dave's lock and everything sitting there? His toolbox was still wide open from the night before, or presumably from the night before.
Yeah, toolbox still sitting there with keys on it or in it. So they started a search, and sometime in the morning of the 20th, that's June 20th, somebody in Plant 6 noticed that one of the furnaces in the building, there were several different types, but one of them had suddenly dropped 28 degrees in temperature at 5:15 a.m. on June 19th.
Plant 6?
In Plant 6. Yeah, so in Plant 6, there were 3 types of furnaces that I've been able to find out about, and they operated at temperatures between about 1,150 degrees Fahrenheit and about 1,365 degrees Fahrenheit.
Do we know what that is?
Kind of hot.
Celsius?
Really hot.
It's hot, yeah. It's really smoking hot. It's like 99 degrees Celsius.
Yeah. Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know, but it's super hot.
Yeah.
Hot enough to, I think, make you uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
Briefly until you died. Yeah. The furnace in question, at least as far as I can tell, was called the Automated Ingot Preheat Furnace, which contained a bath of molten salt, which is kept at a temperature of around 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit. And this was used for heating and softening uranium ingots, which were then squished into